On and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Kevin Harlan here from Westwood One, inviting you to join me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner every Monday this season. It's Westwood One's 45th year of bringing you primetime NFL games, and the schedule is packed with great matchups. Plus, you'll hear Rich Eisen from the studios with interviews and the latest news around the NFL. Don't miss any of the action every week on Monday Night Football.
Our Falcons play here.
If you want to be really blunt, going into year 3, it feels like a real team around here in Flower Branch.
Our Falcons are ready to battle all season long. Catch our next game today as our Falcons are on the road and headed to the Sunshine State for a battle with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Catch each and every Falcons game here.
The Falcons travel to take on the Buccaneers. Divisional matchup, Week 7 action, right after the Bama recap show, brought to you by Freedom Marine Center.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The NFL sends a memo to all 32 teams promising significant punishment for players who get involved in fights before or during games. 2 games last week featured pregame altercations. The 49ers and Browns in Cleveland and the Cowboys and Chargers in Los Angeles. There were no punishments handed out to any of those players. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson active for today against the Colts. He's missed the last 2 games with a right shoulder injury. Giants quarterback Daniel Jones inactive today against the Commanders. He'll miss his 2nd straight game with a neck injury. Old Alabama teammates Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa lead their offenses into a big matchup tonight. Dolphins and Eagles in Philadelphia. Here's Tagovailoa.
You know, I got a lot of respect for Jalen. He's been a great competitor since I've got there to Alabama. He's been a special player since I've been there, and he's been a special player throughout his entire college career. So I know it'll be a good game, and I don't think of it as a Super Bowl preview or anything like that. I just think that this is another team that we're preparing for, and in order for us to get to where we want to go to, we got to play this team.
Tua Tagovailoa. Formula One racing today in Austin, Texas. Charles Leclerc starts on the pole. Series champion Max Verstappen will start 6th. Race coverage starts at 1:30 Eastern on ABC. NASCAR racing today at Homestead Miami Speedway, the 2nd playoff race in the round of 8. Martin Truex Jr. starts on the pole.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Our Falcons play here.
If you want to be really blunt, going into year 3, it feels like a real team around here in Flower Branch.
Our Falcons are ready to battle all season long. Catch our next game today as our Falcons are on the road and headed to the Sunshine State for a battle with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Catch each and every Falcons game here.
The Falcons travel to take on the Buccaneers. Divisional matchup, Week 7 action, right after the Bama recap show, brought to you by Freedom Marine Center on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome to the Bama Recap Show, presented by Freedom Marine Center. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Drew DeArmond and Steve Moulton.
Here's the snap. No roll. Looks, fires, end zone. Touchdown, Jermaine Burton. That was a bullet, a 10-yard bullet, and my goodness, did Alabama ever need that? All right, let's see what the Tide can do now. Trailing here 20-7 to begin the second half. Milroe on the give. Jace McClellan, he's down the near sideline. He takes off scampering, and he's out across the 45, down to the 43-yard line. A 29-yard run on the first play from scrimmage. Now with 2 wideouts to the far side. Tight end in on the near side. setback is McClellan to the left side of the quarterback. Here's the snap. Milrose stands in, loads up long, looking, got him, touchdown! Touchdown! Isaiah Bond, 46 yards. Touchdown, Alabama. Lordy, we needed that. Everybody from Tennessee huddling up together. In tight. Shotgun snap, give to Sampson. He's not going to get there.
Not even close.
That was Jihad Campbell. Here comes Alabama now on the give. Far side, cutting it up the field and taking it in. Jace McClellan. Touchdown, Alabama. Give a big thank you to Malik Benson, who threw a wonderful block. But Jace McClellan gets the touchdown, and for the first time today, Bama is in the lead. And now a 50-yard field goal try for Will Reichard. He is 1 of 1 from this distance this year. He had that 51-yarder against Texas. Here's the kick. Plenty of leg. On the way. It is good. It is good. A 50-yard field goal by a man who continues to close in on the all-time NCAA scoring record. He's within shouting distance now as he takes Alabama to a 27-20 lead. Milton stands in. The ball is knocked free. It's picked up by Alabama. And rumbling in for the touchdown is the Crimson Tide's Jihad Campbell. We had just spoken about him taking advantage of playing time, and he gets the loose football that takes it on in. 9 seconds, 8, the clock running, 7-6. Again, Alabama watching as Tennessee unloads underneath the defense. Catch is made, tackle is made. Alabama wins the 3rd Saturday of October. Last year was an anomaly. Bama had won 15 in a row. Yeah, Tennessee won last year, but the Tide is back to their winning ways here in 2023. Final of 34-20.
Those calls courtesy of Learfield. A good Sunday morning to you. Good morning, Drew DeArmond. How's that cigar afterglow?
Really, really good. It's always great when you dominate Tennessee 27-0 in the second half, and you've beaten their ass 16 out of 17 times. And they spent most of the postgame whining about Mo, Larry, and Curley not calling the game this year and wondering why the officiating was so one-sided, which is a damn joke. But that's something we'll talk about during the show.
Yeah. What was boy? If we had a halftime show, I'm sure we would have had a different start to this conversation. What a difference a half makes.
No, I mean, I said it on Twitter. I said it to friends during the game. I mean, I give Tennessee and Josh Heupel total credit. I thought they came out with a great plan. They got the ball out of Milton's hands quickly. They did a lot of east-west quick game, and then got him warmed up, got him in a rhythm, and then he hit the deep ball. Now I thought Squirrel White made a great catch when he threw the football. I didn't think it was going to be caught. I didn't think he'd have enough room, but Squirrel caught it on his fingertips, and I thought Tennessee started about as well as they could. Now I think one of the small underlying things which kept Alabama in the game, you got to give Alabama's defense a lot of credit because they forced the 2 field goals. To where it could have been a 21-0, and then that has a totally different feel to it.
Yeah.
Especially with the way the offense was playing in the first half, and Milroe was struggling. But it was only 13-0, and then when you get on the board 13-7 with that great
doesn't feel as bad.
No, the bullet to Jermaine Burton made it 13-7, and then honestly, and again. I said one of the keys in the game was for Alabama to win the plus-minus. They did not.
No.
But I'm not going to put the interception on Milroe because the ball ricocheted, off of Burton's shoulder pad. At first people were saying it was tipped. It wasn't tipped. He fitted in a very tight window, and then people were saying, well, Burton was held. No, he wasn't. And you want to know why I know he wasn't? He didn't say one word to the official after the play. If you feel like you've been held, you're going to try to sell it to the official.
Especially a cat like Burton.
Yeah, and he's not going to do that. And so he didn't do it. And so when he had no reaction, I was like, he didn't get held. He just didn't do his job, and that's why he's not talking. Because, again, he's not being animated because he should have caught the football, okay? It wasn't caught. Tennessee got a break there. And then I thought one of the keys to the first half where Burton didn't help his quarterback, Tennessee certainly did. They made a great catch. Terrion Arnold was in the same position he was against Texas A&M, broke that ball up. This time the receiver makes a great catch to get him in the red zone. And then to Heupel's credit, now he went totally brain dead in the second half, but to Heupel's credit, really good play call to read the blitz and to hit the touchdown pass, hit the hot read, right before the half. And then they get the sack.
That was a great touch pass, too.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Joe Milton played as well as he could play the first half. He was tremendous. It was 20-7. I thought Alabama was in big, big trouble. But I got to give the entire coaching staff at Alabama, Nick Saban, Tommy Rees, and I'll go back and talk about Rees in a second. But, Kevin Steele, Travarius Robinson, they made some great adjustments at halftime. And I thought it was huge that Alabama scored in 2 big chunk plays to put pressure on Tennessee. And then, I don't know.
It was a one-score game before you knew it in the second half.
And then in the second half, I don't know what Heupel was doing, but he stopped the quick game with Milton, and he started trying to just direct run. And Alabama, another one of the keys where Alabama did play well enough is I didn't think Tennessee would be able to run the football this year the way they did last year.
Yeah.
And Alabama controlled the line of scrimmage the entire second half. I thought for the most part they lost that battle in half one, but the second half they clamped Tennessee, and they didn't make any big-time vertical plays. Squirrel White had a really good game, but most of it was short stuff. And last year, Tennessee was the big play king. I mean, they just continued to make big-time vertical plays, and they didn't make them this year.
14 carries, 33 yards, to your point, in the second half, rushing-wise for Tennessee.
And that's huge because they're a different type team this year, Steve. They've lost guys to injury, no doubt about it. And so their wide receiver core was a little bit depleted. Now, Squirrel White has the ability to make the big plays, but they weren't able to take advantage of that. Ramel Keaton either. They weren't able to, make – and then the run – they didn't get any out of the running game. I thought Milton ran the ball well at times.
He did.
And gave Alabama some problems. But I'm going to tell you something. I thought Alabama's inside linebacker core, you can tell they're not coached by Wild Turkey anymore because, I thought Deontay Lawson was tremendous, and then – we already heard the highlights with Jihad Campbell. He was all over the field.
Yeah.
He had the scoop and score. He made plays all night long, and I just felt like – and they didn't have Trez Marshall. He warmed
17's
up. 17's
a big key. You really don't know what you have till it's gone, and it really feels like 17's part of that glue.
Well, he is. He is a glue guy. He's very, very smart, and they can rotate he and Jihad, but – Jihad is, when they had to move Trez to the mic and Deontay was out, Trez had like 14 tackles or whatever it was against Mississippi State. Jihad's a 5-star player for a reason. They're getting a lot of production out of him. And, I just felt like the game was over once Alabama got the strip sack because you could see it coming. I thought, I thought Milton might get rid of the ball at the very last second, but when Braswell hit him from behind, you're just hoping Alabama, gets the recovery. But when you see Jihad able to pick it up, just like last year, Dallas Turner did that, and Alabama got a 2-touchdown lead. And I just felt like with this version of Tennessee, it was going to be very, very difficult for them. The only black mark of the whole second half is I don't know whether he's got the yips like Steve Sachs or Chuck Knobloch or Mark Wohlers in baseball, or needs to get his eyes checked or whatever. But, Kool-Aid McKinstry, who is a great corner, there needs to be something done during the off week with either working with him.
Just catch the ball.
To get on catching the football and seeing it, or let's go with Isaiah Bond or Kendrick Law. Somebody else needs to be back there because you cannot give up the kind of field position he is.
That was at least 13,
14
14 yards.
You were going to be around the 20. He did it a couple of times though. You can because he's muffed a couple.
Yeah.
If you've got the yips, then you need to get somebody else back there because I think he's a solid returner. But you've got to be catching the football, man. There is no excuse for letting the football hit the ground like that. I thought that was pretty much the only area of the second half that you could point to and say, what in blue blazes is going on with Alabama? Because other than that, I thought it was their best half of the year. I mean, it was 27-0, and they totally dominated a pretty good Tennessee team. Not a great Tennessee team, but a pretty good football team, no doubt.
Receiving-wise, Isaiah Bond was targeted 4 times, caught a touchdown pass, obviously, as well. And, I mean, it feels like he's getting to be one of the more dependable players. There was a big catch, I think, made by Jermaine Burton in the first half as well.
Well, it was the second half. It was a crossing
I was
route.
thinking like the one around the 20-yard line. Was that the second
half? He caught
half?
it around the 30, and then he broke a few tackles and got inside the 20. It was the second half.
Okay.
And it was a huge crossing route for Jermaine, and I thought he made up for the one that he dropped in the first half because it was a little behind him.
That's what I'm thinking.
He was a little behind him, and I told some folks during the game, look, they didn't do it last week. You got to do it this week. And I know people say, well, if Burton had thrown it on this side, where he could have – look, everybody, you already know you already know Milroe, and let me correct myself. Well, if Milroe had thrown it to to the left side or to where he could leading him up to a more catchable ball where it's leading him where he can run after the look. Milroe by now. He's not going to do that every time. Now he has the capability of doing it, like he did it with Isaiah Bond when they split when it's in the split zone. But he also is a little bit erratic. So if he gets it there, you have to help him sometimes. And I thought Burton did that. And then this time I think he was also instinctually aware of last time I did this, somebody stripped me. So he got basically into a ball and wouldn't let them take the ball from him. And he broke 2 or 3 tackles and he got inside the 20. And then, Alabama scored on the drive. So that was big to me. I just felt like, and with Milroe, it's never been the arm strength. He can fit it in a window, just like the one that was intercepted was fit into a very tight window. The key with Milroe is making a read, the right read, and then getting rid of it on time and not holding it too long and not giving you a hospital ball. And sometimes he does that, but I thought for the most part of the second half he threw it well. And the biggest key. And I'm going to go back to my point about Tommy Rees. I thought starting in the second quarter, Tommy Rees started changing some things up and giving Tennessee problems. And Alabama, that's when they scored a touchdown. And they started giving the Vols a lot of problems in the second half. I thought he did a great job with the perimeter runs. He gave them a different look with Kendrick Law, a couple of those. I call them Debo Samuels. They're kind of like speed sweeps. He got it to the outside. He ran the little toss outside too. And then Milroe ran the ball.
Yeah.
And he used the zone read, and he looked better at doing it because I've told you, Steve, and going into the game, I felt like he had to be – he didn't have to run a ton, but he ran more than I thought he would, which is still an advantage because if you have to take account of Milroe with his legs, it makes everything else easier on offense. And I thought it did the second half. And I'm going to give Tim Banks credit. They've done a good job with that Tennessee defense. At lot better than they were 2 years ago when I thought they were just an abomination. They're a solid defensive team. I think they're better than LSU. At least what I've seen of LSU. I'll see them again in 2 weeks. I know LSU shut out Army, but I'm just saying what I've seen live of LSU watching them, I thought Tennessee was better. And so I got to give the Vols credit, but I thought Alabama dominated the second half.
I think it bears repeating of what you said earlier. And by the way, this is the Bama Recap Show presented by Freedom Marine Center. It now is the time to start winterizing your boats, and you can do so over at Freedom Marine Center. The third drive of the game for Tennessee was their longest drive, 15 plays, 79 yards. That'd be the first field goal made for Tennessee as they went touchdown, then punt after a quick 3-and-out. But that 15-yard drive to hold them to the field goal, then following that a 5-play drive for 15 yards after a fumble as well to hold them to 3 again. That could have been a real turning point if it was 7 rather than 3.
Well, yeah, I mean, you were still within 2 scores at halftime, and you weren't down 4 scores, which you could have been. And
yes.
I mean, I thought that was big. And then, like we said, Tennessee was really good offensively the first half. They scored on every drive, but they didn't scratch the second half. And Alabama controlled the football. I thought they were balanced. I thought Jace McClellan ran hard. He ended up running for over 100 yards in the game because Alabama, I think they had 17 rushes for 16 yards. Now, part of that sacks.
Yeah.
But still, they did not run the football at all the first half. It was like Texas A&M.
Yeah.
But they were able to run the football much better in the second half. Part of that was Milroe as well because Tennessee had to account for him. And it's you gotta it's creating an extra gap, and so when you do that, and so I thought that he ran the ball well, and in the second half he had no turnovers. Okay, and Tennessee had the one, and Alabama cashed it in immediately for a touchdown, which was huge too. So I just felt like overall, and one penalty for 5 yards. One penalty for Alabama, and no Tennessee fans. It wasn't because the officials were awful. I mean, I thought Tennessee lost their discipline in the second half. They kept getting one false start after another. And, hey, cry me a river if your team couldn't hear because Alabama was loud, okay? Alabama had the home field this year for a reason. And honestly, I thought, they made a good call. Like, Alabama got lucky. They were about to have to punt the ball because Milroe missed 2 straight throws that were open. One of them, there was a hold that they called, okay?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought it was a well-officiated game. And I give credit to Tennessee in the first half. They played a great first half. I thought they were going to win the game, but Alabama adjusted. Alabama played their best second half of the year, and they kicked Tennessee's teeth out. And so I'm sorry. I listened to, I just felt like overall that Milroe grew some. I hope that they build on it. You need to, because I really thought the story of the game, if you want to say, why Alabama won, was starting in the second quarter with Tommy Rees and the way he started changing things up, giving them some different looks with the running game that ended up paying off in the second half. And then Milroe being a willing runner in the second half and getting himself in rhythm and hitting some throws, especially getting some confidence hitting Isaiah Bond early in the second half. I just felt like that got Alabama in a rhythm. And then sometimes it only has to happen once or twice, and it's been happening in most games. But I thought Burton's catch when he helped the quarterback was huge because you have to do that some in a game like this to beat a rival like Tennessee.
So there's a couple of things we have not talked about, left tackle being one of them. I think that needs to be talked about, at least just his improvement. Snaps were at times, again, an issue.
Well, there was a low one. Milroe did a great job catching it. I thought the other one they were talking about may have been Milroe's fault because it was not a bad snap. I think he and the quarterback weren't on the same page as far as the cadence goes.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's not the center's fault.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Just like, Milroe got sacked in the first half, and he looked to the sideline for the check. And I had someone message me and say, on social media, and they said, that was on the coaches. He was looking to the sideline. I said, let me tell you something, man. Just because you check to a play doesn't mean the quarterback executes it right. I said, because you don't really know if
it's a lot to process.
If he saw it like the coaches did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I don't really think you can complain about, for the last 3 quarters anyway, what Tommy Rees did. I thought he did a great job. And I thought even the sack that 74 Proctor gave up, which was a strip that Tennessee got it.
Yeah.
If Milroe climbs the pocket, that sack doesn't happen. And see, that's what he did on the touchdown pass to Isaiah Bond. I told somebody, I said, it's amazing what happens when a quarterback climbs the pocket and steps into the throw.
That's exactly why I wanted to bring up 74, because I know a lot of people are going to look at that one play, but it's not just on him. It's on the quarterback to feel it, move up, and then bingo. At least there was another convert it in the second half.
There was another sack where I thought there was an alley where he could have moved up and either would have been a run pass option because it was like a 3rd and 6 or 7. Like if you see somebody, pop it, but if not, take off. But he's just stood back there flat-footed in the pocket. You got to climb the pocket. You got to see the alley. That's what separated Bryce Young, in my opinion, because he saw all that stuff, and he almost had. He was wearing Spider-Man stuff last week. He almost has Spidey sense, the way he plays.
Yeah.
And Milroe is still trying to develop into that kind of thing.
It's not an easy thing.
He's very raw, and I had to laugh when I heard Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson talking about that he was doing a good job running in the second half, and then Brad goes, well, remember, we met with him yesterday, and he stopped us and said, I'm a pocket quarterback. Mm-hmm. And I'm just saying.
Yeah, I kind of cringe, too.
Yeah, I'm like
I know what you want to be a pocket. We all know you want
But we all know if we time you in the 40, you're running a 4.4. So take off, son. You know?
What did he tell me after Mississippi State? I saw green grass, roll tide.
Yeah, exactly.
So just have at it, brother.
I mean, this is like with Jalen Hurts, it's like, throw it. And now you're like, run it. Like, take off. I mean, it's just because he can absolutely run. And hopefully that gave him some confidence and understanding.
Yeah.
Like, when you watch this tape of the second half, and this is a good Tennessee defense. So if you use your legs, Jalen, you can it'll help you develop as a player.
Better defense than a team that we're going to see in 2 weeks. But we're going to leave that on the side right now. Brandon has called in. You can call in as well. It is the Bama Recap Show presented by Freedom Marine Center, 256-576-4977. Good morning, Brandon.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Well, it was an interesting game. I was there yesterday. From having to have Tennessee sorority girls thrown out of our seats to just total bunch of mess that was there. But during the off week, I need Tommy Rees to sit down with Jalen Milroe and talk to him and say, when you take a snap, you need to look peripherally out of your left eye as you're coming back as the routes are going in motion and just see if anybody's coming wide open. Just a little bit. You ain't got to turn your whole head, but to see if something's coming towards you. And then you need to do a 1, a 2, a 3, and then if there's nothing there, you need to be moving. His decision-making on when to try to run is always when it's too late and the pocket's collapsed in on. That would be the biggest change to this offense is if he could have his clock in his mind going. Even if they put a VR headset on like Julian says he does, where he goes back and watches what went on in the game only from where his eyes can see. If we can get a clock going in him where he does what Drew says, step up in the pocket, have an internal clock. If it ain't there in 3 seconds, I'm gone. Not 5.5 seconds, 6 seconds, to where the whole offensive line looks like a hockey stick. If he can do that, I believe with the way this defense is playing, we can really start to take off. I'm not going to try to say he needs to be pinpoint at 10 yards, 20 yards, crossing routes, all that. I'm not going to ask him to do things that he's not really geared to do that well. But I believe if he can make those small changes, it's going to be a huge difference in his game. And I'm wondering, what do y'all think about that?
Well, I mean, I thought the second half he did that, Brandon. The first half,
a little better. Yeah.
I think he wasn't going to his left side. There were some guys open. Even on the Burton throw that ricocheted off the shoulder pad for an interception, there was a tight end open over the middle that he needed to see. So his vision needs to improve. There's no doubt about it. But I think what you saw in the second half was if he uses his legs as a runner and makes himself a factor that way, it helps, because if someone's having to spy him and they have to assign an extra man to him, it's going to help someone else get open. And so I think he's never going to be Tua Tagovailoa or certainly Bryce Young, but he has a skill set where Alabama can be very effective. And I will say this for him, because I've watched enough of him, he has a stronger arm than all of them. I mean, he has a freaking howitzer, because if you go back and watch the second half, like if you see that throw he made to Burton, who helped him and had to jump up and get, they were playing zone. There was 3 guys around him, and then he hit Bond too straight down the middle.
Yeah.
And these windows are not as big as you think they are if you're playing at game speed. So you have to thread thy needle, and he does that, and he's a good deep ball thrower. And so he hit one. Now, I thought he'd hit a couple of more. Alabama wasn't really able to do that, but he was a willing runner. And I think that was a big key to moving the chains, because so much of the key, Brandon, is staying on schedule and not being in 3rd and 8 all the time. Because if it's 3rd and 8 all the time with Milroe, it's a recipe for turnovers. And so if you can stay in 3rd and 3, 2nd and 4, all this kind of stuff, it's going to be much, much better. And I just hope that he and Reeves are on the same page and they're working on this zone read stuff, because you've got to vary things up. And by the way, again, I have another Drew and Airy thing here. I loved the Debo plays with Kendrick Law.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's a load. I hope he may even end up getting a look at punt returner, because we cannot have, and yes, we're an Alabama affiliate, so I'm saying we here on the show, we cannot have the ball hitting the ground and rolling back 20 yards. That was the one black mark of the second half. You can't have the yips, man. I've seen it. Mark Wohlers was one of the saddest things I've ever seen. The guy could throw the ball 100 miles an hour. He got to the point where he could not throw a baseball across the plate. Steve Sachs and Chuck Knobloch, two really good Major League Baseball players, could not throw the ball to first base. It was the weirdest thing you've ever seen. And their second baseman. It is just absolutely unreal. But I almost saw some of that yesterday, like Kool-Aid had the yips. Now, it didn't affect his defense.
No.
He was great at corner. But as a punt returner, I thought that was an area of concern headed into the bye week. And Steve Moulton, who has become – I get stopped by media members all the time about Steve Moulton, the teleconference king. And what does Steve do with all these teleconference questions? And I always explain that he turns it into a big part of the drive.
Yeah.
Steve Moulton's job this week is to ask Nick Saban about punt returners.
Oh, trust me. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got to find out what's up with Kool-Aid, man. Yeah. I mean,
Nick, can we ask Saban, does he feel like his quarterback is always a willing runner? Because that's when you said that earlier. I felt like a lot of this year he has not been a willing runner.
He hasn't been.
He does not want to run, and I don't understand that. I was going to go to Nick at noon, but I had some stuff come up. And that was going to be what I was going to ask him. I was going to stand up, they pass the microphone around and be like, Coach, why do you have a 4-4 quarterback that's not a willing runner? And I don't know what would have happened at that point. It might have been a recordable moment that I'd have never forgot. But I was going to ask that because I feel like the media, they ask some real soft questions. I would love to get in a press conference and ask a couple questions. It might be my last. Yeah. Josh Maxson might put a billboard up in there and say, this guy can never enter again. I don't know. And in a closing statement, Drew, I picked us up a house outside Camp Randall for this coming September because I got it at a steal of a deal. So we are ready to rock in that fall game next year.
Already talking about 24.
We'll talk to Wes about that. He may want to go.
So we're all going to Wisconsin? Is that what is this breaking news right here?
Yeah, if you book a year out, you get incredible deals on stuff.
Well, heck,
like Tampa.
We got to get Wes just to pay for the rest of the expenses here, instead if he doesn't have to rent the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, this one is on the lake.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
I found this and negotiated. It is locked in. It is done. This is a 4-bed, 3-bath house on the lake. Wife said she can't go. I said, hell yeah, party trip. I said, catch you next time.
Wow. Something to look forward to. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon.
Appreciate the phone call. Let's
Tide.
Go ahead and take our first time out. It's the Bama Recap Show. Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
There's nothing like the freedom you feel when you're on the water in your own boat from Freedom Marine in Guntersville. And when it's time to get your boat ready for cold weather, Freedom Marine is your best choice to winterize your boat so it's ready to go next spring. If you've been thinking about a new boat, Freedom Marine has a great selection on sale now with deals that are the lowest prices they've been in a decade. For new and used boats, outboard, sales, financing, service, and parts, it's Freedom Marine. Highway 431 in Guntersville and online at freedommarincenter.com.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188, and you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
There's nothing like the freedom you feel when you're on the water in your own boat from Freedom Marine in Guntersville. And when it's time to get your boat ready for cold weather, Freedom Marine is your best choice to winterize your boat so it's ready to go next spring. If you've been thinking about a new boat, Freedom Marine has a great selection on sale now with deals that are the lowest prices they've been in a decade. For new and used boats, outboard, sales, financing, service, and parts, it's Freedom Marine. Highway 431 in Guntersville and online at freedommarincenter.com.
It is the Bama Recap Show. Tell you, the Freedom Marine Center presents our Bama Recap Show. It's time to winterize your boat, so head on over to freedommarincenter.com. Along with Jordy Armand, Steve Moulton back here with you. There are certain numbers that are just, almost unbelievable. One of those numbers is Nick Saban in the month of October during his time in Tuscaloosa. He is now 58-4. Pause for effect. 58-4. That is a winning percentage of 94% for Nick Saban during his tenure in Tuscaloosa in the month of October. Here is Coach Saban postgame, as well as a message to the fans.
All right. Well, obviously a pretty fun second half. Really proud of our players. When I walked in at halftime after they scored right before the half, I said, everybody here has got a choice. You got a choice to make. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do? Everybody's got to choose what they want. And we went out and scored in 2 plays in the second half in the first drive on offense and changed the momentum of the game and, played really well from that time on. And, Tennessee's got a really good team. And, I'm really proud of our players for the way they competed in the game and came back and the way they took care of business in the second half. But We got a bye week coming up, so probably need to get a little rest for some of our guys. But we got more business to take care of in the future. But for right now, everybody should enjoy this. It's a great win for us. We had a great atmosphere in the stadium. Our fans were fantastic. They had a huge impact on the game in terms of the penalties at the end of the game and not allowing them to score. So I just can't tell you how pleased and proud I am with everybody in the organization who puts a lot into it so that we can, have games like this, have atmospheres like this, and have the opportunity to compete like this for our players. So really, really proud of our team. And it was a great team win. I mean, 27-0 in the second half was pretty good offense and really good defense.
That is Coach Nick Saban post-game after Alabama's 34-20 victory. I want to try to cue up to something we all should pay attention to, and that is what this team is doing to Coach Saban. There is evidently an effect that this team is having on Coach Saban, and he told us all last night.
Coach, this team continues to find ways to win and battle back from adversity. What has it been like for you as a coach to kind of watch them go through this journey week to week?
Oh, I love it. It's been great. The challenges are great. I enjoy coaching this team. That's not to say that they're taking years off of my life, but I'm okay with that. It's fun because they've got a good spirit about them. We got good relationships on our team. I think the players legitimately care about each other, and they respond well to their coaches. So it's really fun to coach them. I don't think we sometimes show the maturity from a competitive standpoint to do everything on a consistent basis, which is what we keep trying to work toward. But I'll tell you, eight weeks in a row, and the grind that we've had the last 4 or 5 weeks, with the games in our league. I think psychologically we probably had a little bit of a tired team, out there at the beginning of the game. And I think the momentum of the game gave them the energy they needed to play the way they were capable of playing.
So there you go. So, I mean, if a coach is saying they're taking years off of my life, yeah, this may be, and he has said multiple times he really likes this team, but it sounds like they're maybe not the easiest coaching team in terms of executing it out on the field after it's being taught.
Oh no, they could start sponsoring a meltdown of the game because they have one or two every game where last week it was you get a penalty taking a knee, okay, this time it's you got all the momentum in the world, and then your punt returner sidesteps it like it's a it's like Dr. Fauci saying something, and the ball hits the ground, and it's like you got the plague all of a sudden, and you can't catch a ball. I mean, like what are you doing? I mean, I don't know. Is there something in his eyes? I don't know. It's just crazy because I thought, okay, it's a high punt. It's not directly to you. It wasn't a directional kick. Now, they did some of that early, so you understand when those aren't fielded.
Yeah.
This was just a direct punt, and he was underneath it. He's always liked the lights and being in the spotlight Kool-Aid has. Since he was in high school, I was shocked he didn't catch the punt. I mean, I just was like, this can't keep going on. You can't keep killing your team here, man. You've got to catch the football. So there needs to be something done during the bye week. I mean, whether it's working with Kool-Aid, and giving him a ton of reps or getting his eyes checked seriously, and I'm not trying to be funny about that, if he's having an issue, or you need to make a change. It needs to be Isaiah Bond, Kendrick Law. Somebody suggested Caleb Downs. He was an outstanding kick returner in high school. That's another possibility. I mean, of course, I had someone tell me, well, DBs aren't the guys that usually catch the ball. It's the wide receivers. I was like, it's not. That's not what it's about.
No,
look at Eddie Jackson.
Yeah.
Look at Javier Arenas. It's more about mentality and mental toughness than it is position. And then, but then of course then someone says, well, Jalen Waddle was the greatest punt returner in out.
What? Excuse me?
No.
Who said Jalen Waddle?
No. It's good. He was very, very good.
Yeah.
But there's only one that was the greatest punt returner in Alabama history, and everybody knows who that is. David Palmer. He's the one and only. Was he the greatest punt kickoff returner? No, but he was the greatest punt returner in history. Okay, now
he was electric.
Jalen Waddle may have been the best kickoff returner I've seen at Alabama because there's a difference in kickoff returning and punt returning.
How to set up.
But David Palmer was the greatest punt returner I ever saw. I mean, he was just built for it. And he was a good kickoff returner, but see, the thing is, in kickoff return, it's more straight line speed and then hitting it. With David, he didn't have great straight line speed, but he had unbelievable ability to make you miss in a phone booth, and and vision and ability to set up blocks. He was the hands. Never saw David Palmer muff a punt ever. I mean, he had such great vision and hands and ability to catch it in traffic. He was money. And so many of the people that tweeted me about this, I think they were like 2 or they weren't born when he was playing. I have to understand that now.
Yeah.
And they only watch YouTube
Please
videos.
Go back and watch that. Yeah.
When people like George Teague tell you we couldn't tackle him, and they were one of the greatest, if not the greatest defense still that I've ever seen at Alabama, people that have seen David in high school and college will tell you there's never been another one like him.
Let's talk to Jay on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. You can call in, too, at 256-576-4977. Good morning.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on? I think Jay knows what I'm talking about because he definitely saw David Palmer.
Oh, no doubt, Drew. That's why they called him the Deuces Loose, because they sure couldn't catch him. Drew, I thought, man, this Jaden Roberts kid, man, he is showing me a lot, just being a sophomore. And, man, when he went down in that first half, I thought, oh, man, we don't need him to get hurt. But he came back out the second half, and he still really plays well.
Oh, I thought he did, Jay. I thought he was that showed a lot of toughness on his part to be able to finish the game. And if you watch him in pass pro and what he's doing, he's really doing a great job. I think he's helped the offensive line kind of settle down. I know Seth had a couple issues, even though I think only maybe one of them was on him as far as a low snap. But I still think the biggest issue is the left tackle, but he's developing. And it's kind of what Nick Saban said this week. You know, he's a young player. You've got to help him. You've got to bring him along. And the quarterback has to help him too. And that's what Steve and I have been talking about, climbing the pocket, getting rid of the ball, using your legs, helping him out. Because, again, he's a very young kid. He's right out of high school. He's going to be good. I think the key is going to be getting him in better shape because he's been trying to get in shape as the season goes on. That's hard to do and sustain. But I think he is the best candidate. But I agree with you. Jaden Roberts, who was a third-string guy to start the year, has certainly done a great job. And he may have solidified himself there because I don't really know how you go back to Dalcourt or T.J. Ferguson at this time. With him and Tyler Booker at guard, I think you have your guards. And Dalcourt can certainly be a factor at center potentially if he gets back healthy. But sometimes it's all about you can't make the club in the tub. If you get hurt and somebody starts playing at a high level, you lose your job. It happens all the time. That's why they call it Wally Pip.
And I know, Drew, one series on a punt, I think Caleb Downs was back there, and I thought, well, maybe this is going to try to help Kool-Aid on these misdirects, these misangled punts to try to keep him from not catching. But it looked like Caleb just went in the block and hoping Kool-Aid would catch the ball, and he let the thing go past him again.
Oh, I know.
I'm like you. He looks like Rube from Major League who couldn't throw it back to the pitcher.
Yeah,
he may have one of those dudes.
Well, and I love Kool-Aid, but they just got it. That's something in the bye week they've got to fix because you cannot give up field position against LSU because LSU is the best offense in the conference. They're going to score points. You've got to get as much field position as you can. You have to win the time of possession, and you have to score. And then when your defense has a chance to get off the field against LSU, you got to do it. I mean, LSU, Jaden Daniels is the player of the year in this league. Jaden Daniels is a lot better than Caleb Williams, who is asking for pieces of NFL teams, and he can't beat Tulane or Utah or Notre Dame. I mean, he's not that good. And then you got idiots in the media saying he should take the rest of the season off because it's a business decision. I would say, well, it's my business decision not to draft his ass because he's not good enough, and you don't get better sitting on the bench.
Appreciate the phone call, Jay. Let's go ahead and take our final timeout. We'll take a look at the rest of the SEC, including Bama's next opponent, who's about to enter into a bye as well. We'll be right back.
There's nothing like the freedom you feel when you're on the water in your own boat from Freedom Marine in Guntersville. And when it's time to get your boat ready for cold weather, Freedom Marine is your best choice to winterize your boat so it's ready to go next spring. If you've been thinking about a new boat, Freedom Marine has a great selection on sale now with deals that are the lowest prices they've been in a decade. For new and used boats, outboard sales, financing, service and parts, it's Freedom Marine. Highway 431 in Guntersville and online at freedommarincenter.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a 5th generation Huntsvillian and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough we can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey Wes, we show up.
Injuries at work happen all the time in Alabama. So do motor vehicle and slip and fall accidents. If you're hurt at work or injured in an accident, I want you to call my good friends at Pond Lehocky Giordano. That's Pond Lehocky, Alabama's injury law firm. They got your back just like they've got mine. For personalized legal support, reach out to Pond Lehocky at 855-774-3838 or pondlehocky.com.
The representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. It's hunting and tailgate season and time to get serious about an F-150. We've got nearly 140 to choose from, and without a doubt, one of the best F-150 values on the road today is our STX package. You get 290 hard-working horses mated to a 10-speed transmission that'll take you everywhere, from that tree stand to downtown Tuscaloosa. Body-colored bumpers, halogen headlamps, 20-inch machined aluminum wheels, and lots of tech, like a rear-view camera with dynamic hitch assist, which you boaters and RVers will love. A 2023 Woody Anderson Ford F-150 STX packs a punch, but it doesn't cost you a bunch. You can drive one for $474 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $51.66 due at signing, 0 security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. Offer ends October 31st. Call 539-9441 for complete details. Come test drive an F-150 STX today. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
There's nothing like the freedom you feel when you're on the water in your own boat from Freedom Marine in Guntersville. And when it's time to get your boat ready for cold weather, Freedom Marine is your best choice to winterize your boat so it's ready to go next spring. If you've been thinking about a new boat, Freedom Marine has a great selection on sale now with deals that are the lowest prices they've been in a decade. For new and used boats, outboard sales, financing, service and parts, it's Freedom Marine. Highway 431 in Guntersville and online at freedommarincenter.com.
Listen to the Bama Recap Show each Sunday morning at 11, presented by Freedom Marine Center on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Boy, he was running, boy. I don't know. Since I've been here, I never seen him run like that, boy. He must be happy.
there a reason you should hard before coming in? You smoke or anything?
Oh yeah, I don't like being stinky. That's one thing I had. That's my pet peeve. Anybody being sneaky, I like taking showers, so I had to make sure I was clean for y'all.
How was that cigar?
Huh?
How was the cigar?
That was fun. That was fun. I would say that, but yeah, that was great. That was great for us.
You mentioned the mindset was always win, but how much of a morale boost was the touchdown football? Like, how much more confidence did that give you guys?
I think, like I said, coming at halftime, our mindset was win, and we trust all the assignments, all the corrections that we made at halftime, and I trusted IB on that route, and he did all the work on that play. And I was just, I saw it, and I just took a shot, and he made an explosive play for us.
That is a little bit of Jalen Milroe post-game. Alabama a winner 34-20 for the third Saturday in October. It is the Bama Recap Show presented by Freedom Marine Center. He is Drew DeArmond. Steve Moulton back here with you. Final call for phone calls. Incidentally, we will be back here next Sunday morning. Even despite it being a bye week, there is still plenty of SEC action that we will keep you up to date on right here on the Bama Recap Show, although Bama's opponent is also heading into a bye week as well. We do have the Georgia-Florida game front and center for you Saturday afternoon, courtesy of Westwood One Sports, so we'll have that for you here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. But LSU, there is no doubt what kind of offense that LSU is going to bring to Bryant Denny.
No, this is an offense in the class of Joe Burrow. In 2019, this is a Tua Tagovailoa-led offense of Alabama. In 2018, that reached the national championship game and won it all in 2017 with him at the keys to the car and that comeback against Georgia. This is a 2020 Alabama offense. This is an elite group. I mean, they have a weapon at every level. They have three really good receivers. Brian Thomas had a great game yesterday. We know what Malik Neighbors, the cousin of Hayden, can do, and we certainly know Kyron Lacey is capable. Even Chris Hinton, I mean, the Hinton kid's a good player. They got Mason Taylor at tight end, and now they have Logan Diggs, and then they have a maestro who is a great athlete but is turned into an amazing quarterback in Jaden Daniels. Coaching matters. I mean, this kid showed flashes at Arizona State, but he didn't start developing until he got to LSU into the player that he is. I think he's better than Caleb Williams. I would certainly venture to say, and even watching Caleb last year, what Jaden Daniels is doing this year in a really good conference, and I think a better defensive conference because the Pac-12 defensively is not good. I think he's tremendous because I'll be honest. I watched Michael Penix last night, and he was horrendous. I mean, against Arizona State, they were very lucky to escape in that game.
Did not watch that game.
Well, Kenny Dillingham pulled a Heupel. I mean, they were up 7-6 in field goal range, Steve, with about 7 or 8 minutes left in the game. He goes for it on 4th and 3 and throws a pick six. Instead of kicking a field goal to go up 10-6 and keep putting the pressure on Washington, he totally took the own momentum out of his team's hands. These coaches, some of the decision-making you see out of some of these boneheads, I mean, I just thought the second half from Heupel was an abomination. He put his team in a bind with terrible play calling and decision-making. You got to play the percentages some. Stop thinking about analytics. That's the problem with Lane Kiffin too. It's called smart coaching. Put more faith in your defense, okay? Those kind of quick change things where you give a team the football at midfield instead of punting it deep is really, really stupid football. Okay, and I just thought, instead of complaining about the officiating, Heupel, how about you look at yourself in the mirror and stop being so indignant in the press conference and understand that you coached a pathetic second half. That was horrendous.
A quick look around the league. Boy, Arkansas. I don't know what to say about the Hogs other than it really felt to me like the Monday message from Sam didn't do what he wanted it to do. And if you don't know what I'm referencing to, he said we have to win. We have to win. That was a team that felt like they were under the pressure to win because everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Kudos to Mississippi State for the win there. Missouri, I'm telling you, it's the team that nobody's talking about.
I know.
And they out-physicaled, they outmanned South Carolina.
And I want to point something out. Mississippi State won that game without Will Rogers. That makes it even worse for Arkansas. They won it without Will Rogers. And
Ole Miss almost
found a way.
They did, but that was as dominant a 7-point win as I've seen in a long time. Congratulations to Ole Miss. That's back-to-back wins over Auburn for the first time since 51 and 52. 19 51 and 52.
Yes, I mean they really have had a lot of trouble at Jordan-Hare Stadium, but congrats to Ole Miss. But congrats to the Crimson Tide. 16 out of 17 when you dominate the Hillbillies from Tennessee. And yes, I'm throwing that in there.
It is a bye week.
Smoke them if you got them.
It's a bye week for the Crimson Tide this week. We'll be back here next Sunday morning to break it all down and get you ready for a quick little preview of the other part of the Redemption Tour. That would be the LSU.
And we'll give away some
Tigers.
tickets to that this week.
We certainly will. Tuesday at Baumhauer's Victory Grill, Tom Abraham will be giving away those tickets, so it's your final opportunity to put your name in the hopper to win Bob's tickets. Got Falcon football coming up at the top of the hour here in just a mere matter of moments. Falcons taking on the Buccaneers, but I'm sure a lot of NFL fans, as a lot of Bama fans, are looking to Miami and Philadelphia. Jalen versus Tua.
Let's go Dolphins.
30-29. And, of course, this is the first of two meetings with the NFC South opponents this year. The return game will be December 10th in Atlanta at